All right. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us today for session 2 of our webinar series, Modern Management. I begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we individually gather today. I also acknowledge the Jagera and Turrbal peoples of modern-day Brisbane, in which our head office is located. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. As I mentioned, this is session 2 of our 5-part webinar series on streamlining operations and empowering employees in the modern workplace. In case you missed our first session on the Surface Portfolio update, a recording is available at data3.com or by scanning the QR code on your screen. You also still have time to register for our remaining sessions in the series if you've not yet had time to do so. Today's session will be a mix of technical and management information, so please feel free to pop any questions that you may have in the chat so our team can respond. All right, so let me introduce you to our spectacular team. We have Sam Allett, who is our pre-sales solution architect. Sam is our technical guru for all things modern endpoint. As we have a wide audience today from IT technical professionals through to decision makers, Sam will be covering both high-level and detailed technical topics. We have Mark Paddy, our modern workplace solutions specialist, and he leads our modern work practice from a sales and solution perspective. We also have our Microsoft practice manager, Scott Gosling, joining us today, so feel free to test his knowledge by dropping your questions in the chat. I'm the Surface Solutions team leader here at Data3, and I support our New South Wales and ACT territories. I'm joined by Angelo De Paz, who supports our Vic, Tas, SA and WA territories, and lastly, Mia Chen Wong, who supports Queensland. Today, Mark will be taking you through maximising your investment. Sam will be covering off modern endpoints. Angelo will talk a little bit about why Data3, and then I will close us out. Over to you, Sam.
Hi, sorry, it's actually over to Mark, but thanks for that, Sam. So before we get into the modern endpoint part of the webinar, I'm going to briefly cover off what we're seeing with usage of our customers' M365 licenses, how to get started with implementing further M365 workloads within your environment, some of the funding programs through Microsoft that are available to help you on that journey to using your M365 licenses, and also optimizing your M365 environment. So M365 E3 and E5 suites have a lot to offer, but the paid functionality, there's quite a lot of it that's being left on the table. So what we've found is that more than 40% of our customers are using less than half of their Intune licenses, and more than 50% of our customers are using less than half of their Teams calling licenses. And Teams calling is one of the few non-security related products that are in the E3 to E5 step up and can be easily implemented. So there's a lot of functionality that's being left on the table there within those E3 and E5 suites. So getting started on how can you implement those workloads in your environment that you're already licensed for, but possibly not leveraging. So firstly, check your license tier. If you've got M365 license suites, that includes the Intune license. And at Data3, we provide what we call a Launchpad, which is a funded workshop plus a pilot implementation. We provide that for Intune and for Windows 365. So that's to get you up and going with that technology in your environment. In Teams calling, that is included in E5 suites. So we also offer the Teams calling Launchpad with that as well. And again, that's a funded workshop plus a pilot for 30 days for 10 users as well. So you can have Teams calling up and running in your environment. I was trying to get the next slide. There we go. So some of the funding programs that are available, so they go all the way from planning through to pilot, deployment, and then rolling into managing your service. So some of the funding programs available are around the workshops, which I mentioned before. So we package that together with a pilot so that you can have that up and running in your environment. We have an offer for the Windows 365 Launchpad, and Sam will talk about that a little bit later. We also can leverage deployment funding. So that can be to roll out that technology across the entire environment. So that is from pilot, afterwards from the launchpad, sorry, is the pilot, and then moving into deploying across the entire organization. There's also deploy assist funding that's available. So that's when you purchase Surface hardware. There's funding that comes available with that purchase from Microsoft that we can leverage, especially around Intune, Windows 365, those types of technologies that are associated with the endpoints. And Angela will go into that a little bit later in the webinar. So those funding programs are available across almost all M365 workloads, but those ones you see there are ones that Microsoft are particularly funding quite a lot. And so we can leverage those funding programs. So optimizing your M365 environment, there's a few aspects here to touch on. So one is improving adoption. So it's important that you can report on usage of workloads within M365, so you can understand what your user base is leveraging out there and issue communications out to them and potentially training as well, so that they can make the most of those productivity tools that they're licensed for. The second one there is around minimizing license wastage. So you need to have a clear understanding of who is using what workloads within M365. Are they licensed appropriately? Are they actually using all of the E3 suite? And we do find quite a lot of customers have licenses assigned to accounts where they're not even leveraging M365 whatsoever. So it's important to try and keep on top of that and minimize that license wastage. The third one around identifying security risks. So the platform itself is obviously very secure. Microsoft manage that, maintain it, keep it up to date. But how you configure that platform and how your users interact with it can introduce some security risks. So an example of that that we've found in a lot of our customer base is emails that are being automatically forwarded to external email domains. So that can be configured either at a mailbox level, or it could just be a user within Outlook setting auto forward rules that send out to gmail.com or whatever other email domain there is. So that's obviously a security risk and just one example of the many you need to keep an eye on. And lastly, of course, is ensuring good governance. So especially with teams, it's important to keep on top of that environment. That can really get out of control very quickly. So you want to make sure you're identifying empty teams, teams that don't have owners, also teams with a single owner, so that if somebody leaves the organization, those teams can continue to be managed. So we have an M3 service that we provide called M365 Optimizer, and here's some statistics that we found across our customer base that thought might be of interest before we move on to modernizing endpoints with Sam. So we found that 27% of licensed accounts are either disabled or inactive. So there's a lot of wastage there with licenses assigned to those accounts. And by inactive, we mean they haven't used M365 services within 30 days. So that could be an E3 license, an E5 license, or any of the other app licenses as well. And as you can see, there's a lot of wastage in the Power BI Pro area. So we keep an eye on, are they actually using Power BI Pro itself? And I think the scenario there is that a lot of users will request Power BI Pro, they'll make use of it, and then they might not make use of it again for some time. So you can reassign those licenses to other users, reharvest them to save on cost there. And as you can see, we've identified a lot of potential savings for our customers using the service and provide them with a really good return on investment. And we've got a QR code up the top there. So if you're interested at all in M365 Optimizer, just for some more information around that, scan that and enter your details and we'll get in touch. Now I'll hand over to Sam to take you through modernizing endpoints and endpoint management.
Thank you, Mark. Today, I'm here to present on the topic of modern endpoints. And let's get the slide to move. Thank you. I'm going to cover trends we're seeing with modern management, in particular the swing to cloud native. I'm going to cover Windows 11 modern deployment and how we achieve that. What's new with desktop virtualization, the key differences between Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365, And I'm going to touch on extending modern management to desktop virtualization. Thank you. So modern, at Microsoft Ignite last week, Microsoft announced that they are dropping the Microsoft Endpoint Manager name. Microsoft Intune will refer to all things cloud management, including device management, modern management, and provisioning. Microsoft Configuration Manager will refer to all things on-premises management, such as wipe and load, image deployment, management of servers on-premises, etc. Co-management will remain to assist with the journey to cloud-native management. Next. How have we traditionally managed Windows devices? With an architecture like this, consisting of an on-premises configuration manager server or servers, optionally with co-management configured if you are taking the first steps to the cloud. Windows devices are on-premises Active Directory joined, potentially hybrid Azure AD joined. MDM and BYOD would be managed via Intune or perhaps another product. And device configuration and security policies are delivered via Active Directory group policy objects. This approach has presented some challenges, however. We now see wide-scale hybrid work. However, configuration management largely relies on devices being connected to the on-premises LAN or requires staff members to VPN back to on-premises so the device can connect to Configuration Manager. As a result, organisations are experiencing what we call patching and compliance drift. Organisations are also struggling to get accurate reporting data from Configuration Manager as a result of that. To address the challenge, organisations are starting to take a different approach. In the last year, devices protected by Intune grew by 60%. More than 80% of new Windows 11 endpoints are cloud managed from the start, and nearly 50% of Microsoft managed endpoints are now cloud connected compared to less than 20% in 2020. Many organisations have now largely retired their legacy applications that required end user devices to be joined to on-premises Active Directory for authentication. And user data now exists in SharePoint Online, Teams, and OneDrive for Business, usually with known folder redirection in place. Organisations who are looking to upgrade to Windows 11 are replacing Active Directory group policy objects with Intune device configuration profiles and Intune security baselines. This allows devices to be natively joined to Azure Active Directory. Intune can deliver applications, updates, and policy with no VPN connection required. Devices are also being provisioned using Windows Autopilot. Windows Autopilot differs from traditional Configuration Manager task sequence-based wipe and load. Rather than wiping the local storage and reinstalling the operating system, during the initial out-of-box experience, the device is redirected to Intune to collect your applications, device configuration policies, and transform the installed operating system into a business-ready device. Devices are enrolled to the Windows Autopilot deployment program, either by the hardware vendor or a partner supplier, or can be automatically harvested and enrolled by the IT admin. The process can enable provisioning and reprovisioning of devices to occur without the device having to come back into the office. To create what is known as an SOE via Intune, we can combine a number of features to create a process that can be deployed both on and off premises, and optionally pre-provisioned by an OEM or a partner prior to delivery. We start with the base or OEM Windows image. This is often the factory image supplied with the device, containing all the drivers required to correctly operate that device. When you order new devices, we recommend that you order them with what is referred to as an autopilot ready image. This will ensure the image does not contain additional bloatware from the manufacturer, such as hotkey apps and bonus software, etc. The autopilot deployment profile determines the deployment mode for provisioning the device and allows the customization of the out-of-box experience at first startup. We then layer on device configuration profiles, and you can think of these as a replacement for group policy. Device configuration profiles configure security settings and end-user experience customization, such as domain join, certificate enrollment, VPN profiles, Wi-Fi settings, endpoint protection, and other administrative template settings. We then apply a hardening baseline. This is a baseline containing the settings to harden and secure the operating system. And then lastly, we deploy the applications to the device. Pre-provisioning, also known as white glove, this is a feature that allows OEMs or partners to preload the new device with the majority of policies and applications prior to delivering the device to the end user, perhaps even directly straight to their home. The hardening baselines we just spoke about, think of these as Intune's answer to Microsoft Baseline Security Analyzer. The security baselines provide a great starting point for hardening the operating system. You can then create a custom profile to further customize the baseline to meet your organization's needs. Perhaps you're trying to read Essential 8 Maturity Level 2, or you may be trying to incorporate recommendations from a third-party pen test. Let's talk about modern managed cloud-based virtual desktop options. And there are two key ones: Azure Virtual Desktop, often referred to as AVD, and Windows 365. First, I want to cover the key differences between these two technologies. For AVD, this is a Windows 10/11 multi-session or a dedicated host pool capable environment. The host can be Intune enrolled, which provides greater management flexibility. Microsoft manages the VDI service itself. So what you may have known as the gateway server, the connection broker, licensing servers, if you're experienced with remote desktop services. You run and own the host image or the host servers in your own Azure subscription. You'll need a good level of in-house VDI skill for this solution. This is great for organizations with an existing on-premises VDI, such as RDS or Citrix, and you may want to migrate to the cloud. This is a great solution for that. AVD also allows for economy of scale to be achieved through the use of multi-session hosts. This is great for large or high user count environments. Windows 365, on the other hand, differs slightly. This is a dedicated Windows PC in the cloud. it runs inside of Microsoft's subscription and then is priced back to you at a fixed per user per month charge rather than paying a compute charge within your own tenant. It's managed via Intune and only requires in-house Intune skills in order to manage the solution. I'm going to cover some common VDI and modern management questions that I hear. AVD hosts can be managed via Intune. Intune automatically detects the host's VMs and then reports them as a virtual machine in the model field. In your Intune console, you would be able to see this under devices, all devices, and then in the overview. Windows Autopilot deployment scenarios aren't supported into AVD. This is because they actually require a physical TPM module for that to work. We don't recommend using Intune to manage on-demand or non-persistent host VMs. And the reason for this is that each VM must be enrolled when it's created, and regularly deleting these VMs will leave orphaned device records in Intune, which would need to be cleaned up. As of April this year, configuration policies and compliance policies for multi-session based hosts is now fully supported. Coming back to Windows 365, how are Windows 365 cloud PCs created within Intune? We create a Windows 365 provisioning policy, and this is under the devices node in the Intune console. We start with choosing the region and the network connection, be it a Microsoft VNet that you want to land that PC into, or whether you want to land the PC's network adapter into your own Azure VNets. We can use either a gallery image, or you can specify a custom image that you may have created yourself. You would then choose if you want to manage the updates or the patching of the device itself, or whether you would prefer Microsoft to manage the image updates using a feature called Windows Auto Patch. How do staff access Windows 365? Staff access their cloud PC via a browser by going to windows365.microsoft.com. They'll log in there with their Azure AD credentials, and then they can see the cloud PCs that have been assigned to them. From here, you can use either the web client, or you can hand it off to MSTSC in order to connect natively to that cloud PC. How is the Windows 365 cloud PC sizing determined? It is determined by the license SKU that gets assigned to the user. The cloud PC can also be resized after it's been provisioned by accessing it via the Intune console, navigating to the device itself, and then hitting the resize button. When you hit the resize button, all the available SKUs for that user and that PC are shown to you, and you can select another PC size. Can I target all of the cloud PCs? Yes, for ease of targeting, you can create an Azure AD group and then create a dynamic membership rule which can use the device model of a cloud PC. For those of us with Surface devices, the Surface Management Portal provides a single pane of glass for IT admins to see, manage, and support devices across your organisation. Where do I find that? You can access it from the Intune console by going to All Services, and then down in the right-hand corner there is the Surface Management Portal that you can click on there. In the Device Overview tab, you can see Surface-specific features, such as device information, support and coverage, important news. It's all there in the one pane of glass. Under device status, under all devices, you're able to gain even further insight from here. You can see issues like low storage, non-compliance, inactive devices, non-encrypted devices, and devices that need immediate attention. Under the warranty and coverage tab, you can quickly see warranty data for all of the Surface devices in your organisation. Under the support request tab here, you can see all the support requests for your Surface devices across the organisation. You can view the status of each request, the type of the issue, the date the ticket was created. You also have easy access to the Surface device name and serial number for convenience. So to wrap all this up, if you're keen to see more of Windows 365 and experience it for yourself within your own organisation, we have the Windows 365 Launchpad offer, which provides a low-cost proof of concept configured in your environment using your Intune. You can try it out for yourself first prior to expanding it into production use. Now, normally this is 19K, however, we are discounting this to just 16 for all of you that are attending the webinar today. I'm now going to hand over to Angelo.
Thanks, Sam. Why Data 3? Go to the next slide, thank you. Why Data 3? We have the largest national dedicated Microsoft Surface specialist team, and this is to show support for our investment as a Microsoft partner. The Microsoft Surface solution specialists enable our customers' success by providing digital content, training, roadmap presentations, and technical advice in relation to device selections. We have been awarded, so we won a couple of awards in 2022, so we've been awarded the Global Microsoft Device Reseller Partner and the Global Microsoft Surface Plus Partner. This award recognizes the Surface partner that has brought the best of Microsoft together by pairing Surface PC and/or Hub with Microsoft's modern solutions. Data 3 is also the leading ICT service provider with a wealth of experience, providing first-class solutions to companies across all industry sectors. Data 3 have warehouses nationally, and we're renowned for our capabilities in warehouse and integration services. Today, we assist many customers by holding and managing replenishing devices and buffer stock to mitigate component constraints. So here are some of our partner status. So we have been a Microsoft partner since 2001 and currently have a gold partner status, which is one of the highest in Australia. In addition to the awards that we've won in 2022, we also carry a gold partner status in 16 areas, such as application development, cloud productivity, data analytics, and enterprise mobility and management, just to name a few. And we also have over 140 certified staff across the country. So deploy assist. So we understand that changing or transitioning can be very daunting for our customers. To further help support you and your modern deployment, our modern management journey, Data 3 offers deploy assist programs. These are funded programs that we work to maximize your benefit and investment into Surface devices and modernizing your environment. So here we have 5 key areas that we focus on. The first one is M365 accelerated deployment. This is where Data 3 will work with your IT departments to test the environment before deployment. We can also cover some hands-on help and guidance during the Surface deployment, so you can hit the ground running. The next area which is one of our most popular options, Surface training and adaptation. adoption, sorry. This is where we can either get on-site or virtual training for your end users. We found that productivity has improved from understanding technology better. Third, we have modern meetings. This is the proof of concept situated around Teams and unlocking the power of Teams. We have seen this becoming more and more popular since the pandemic, with simplifying video conferencing and collaborating programs into a standardized solution. Fourth, we have team meeting room devices. This is another proof of concept or pilot option for any change or adaptation in management for all Teams room devices, in addition to Surface hubs. And finally, managed security services, where our security experts will work with your IT department to assess and plan the best security systems for your organization. Thank you, and over to you, Sam.
Thanks, Angelo. And thanks, team. So I just wanted to sum everything up for you today. So Data3 and Microsoft act as one with a long-standing trusted partnership. We have many years' experience in delivering end-user compute projects to our clients of all sizes and industry sector types, aiding them with their modernisation endeavours. The Surface product family is a range of premium devices designed for the user to securely and effectively get the most out of the technology. We can help you on your modern provisioning and modern management journey via our Deploy Assist programs and using our strongly developed security and services capabilities. We completed over 100 endpoint projects in FY 2022 to our customers. Please contact us to arrange a specialised one-on-one session with you and your team so we can help unlock your digital future. Don't forget to register your interest in our Windows 365 Launchpad offer, which is a funded workshop, by scanning the QR code on your screen. Thank you, everybody.